You ever get that feeling?
Yeah.
Like booting up a brand new RPG
Or-
and the world is just stretching out in front of you like a promise?
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about that feeling of like endless possibility.
Yeah.
You know, before you've even taken a single step.
The digital equivalent of a blank map. Just completely ripe for exploration.
Exactly. Now imagine if you could hold on to that feeling forever.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Because we're diving into a future where AI could actually make those endless possibilities a reality. So think like this. Game worlds that are crafted on the fly, they're constantly evolving, and they're totally different every time you play.
Okay, so this isn't just about like procedurally generated dungeons anymore.
Definitely not.
We're talking about AI that can build entire living, breathing worlds.
Yeah.
With like their own unique ecosystems and stories. Even every single NPC would have their own history, and they would react to your choices in ways you could never predict.
Exactly. And to unpack all of this, we're taking a deep dive into this concept, and we were really fueled by this fascinating discussion that we saw from the R Singularity subreddit.
Oh, they're always on top of this stuff.
I know. They were really buzzing about this vision of the future of gaming from Jim Fan.
Right. And Jim Fan, he's over at NVIDIA, so you know he kind of knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's definitely tapped in.
For sure. And it's interesting because he doesn't even try to predict when this will happen.
Right.
He just focuses on really painting this picture of what he calls infinite replay value. So a world that literally never ends, where there's always something new just around the corner.
It's a really cool concept to consider. Like, how would that even change how you play a game? If you knew that you would never hit the end credits, like, would you spend more time exploring? Would you take bigger risks? Because you know that the world is just going to adapt around you.
It would totally change how you approach the game.
Yeah, it would. It'd be like stepping into a dream where you get to choose your own adventure, but on a whole nother level.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how?
The how is the big question, right? I mean, this goes way beyond just placing trees and rocks randomly.
Yeah.
Think of an AI that understands the fundamental rules of the world it's building, almost like it can think like a game designer. And then it uses those rules to generate not just the environments, but like entire societies with their own histories and conflicts, and it's all playing out in real time.
So it's not just the world that's different, it's the entire experience.
Exactly. It's almost like having a conversation, in that responsive aspect, but that's what really sets this apart. Like even from the most complex games that we have right now, it becomes less about pre-programmed paths and more about the AI understanding the why behind the world that it's actually creating.
So it's almost like having an invisible dungeon master.
Yeah.
Like shaping the game around your choices in real time.
Exact.
That's wild. But then it also kind of makes you wonder, like, if the AI is doing so much of the heavy lifting when it comes to creating these worlds, where does that leave the human creators?
That's a great question. And honestly, that came up a lot in that R Singularity thread. One user, ShinyGraz, I think really put it well. They said they were wondering, like, will we still crave those meticulously crafted, author-driven experiences once AI is in the picture?
Because there is a difference, right, between a world that is built by an algorithm, even a really, really smart one, and a world that's crafted by a person with a vision.
Yeah, totally.
Like, take someone like Hideo Kojima, for example. I mean, his games are known for having such a unique style. They're intricate plots. You can really feel his personality kind of woven into every little detail.
And they brought up Kojima specifically, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, I mean, it is that human touch, that deliberate design that I think a lot of players find really captivating. And it raises this fascinating question. Can an AI replicate that?
Right.
Can it ever truly capture the artistry and the emotional depth of a world that's actually crafted by human hands?
Yeah, because it's like, I can appreciate a beautiful landscape that was generated by an AI.
Yeah.
But knowing that a human artist sat down and like painstakingly created a painting, you know, brushstroke by brushstroke.
Yeah.
It just adds a whole other layer of meaning to it.
For sure. And that's where it gets really interesting, right? Like, are we as humans just drawn to the familiar, like that sense of connection we get knowing something was made by one of us?
Right.
Or are we ready to embrace a future where AI becomes the primary architect of our experiences?
That's a tough one to answer.
It is a tough one.
Because on the one hand, you have the potential for truly unique experiences, like worlds that are literally infinite. But then on the other hand, you have that question of authorship.
Right.
And whether an AI can ever truly capture all those nuances of human creativity.
Yeah, and it might not even be about replicating human creativity, you
Yeah.
know? It's what new forms of expression could AI unlock?
Ooh.
Imagine an AI that could actually analyze your play style, your preferences,
Okay.
and tailor a world that's perfectly suited to your tastes.
Okay. Now that's a whole other level. That's like having a game designed specifically for you, which honestly sounds amazing and a little bit terrifying. It's like, what if the AI knows me better than I know myself?
Yeah, it's like it's reading your mind and just creating this perfect experience. But I feel like that's what some people find so exciting about this whole thing. It's about like breaking free from all those predefined boxes and like experiencing something truly unique.
Right. And I think it's worth remembering with all this talk about AI, it doesn't have to be this either or situation, you know?
Right.
Like going back to that Reddit thread, a lot of users were imagining ways that AI could actually enhance traditional game design instead of replacing it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And one user, Letafant, used a great term. They were talking about filler.
Oh, Phil. Okay, so you mean like those moments in games that just feel like they're there to pad out the runtime?
Yeah. Like walking down a really long corridor or having to like cross a vast empty space just to get to the next objective.
Yeah, exactly. And Letafant's point was, what if AI could completely transform those moments?
Oh, okay.
So imagine like you open a door and it seems really insignificant, but on the other side is this entire hidden quest line
What?
that's totally crafted in real time based on the choices that you've made up to that point.
Wow. So it's like the main storyline is still there, obviously crafted by the human designers, but the AI is kind of like filling in the gaps and creating these little pockets of surprise and delight along the way.
Exactly.
I love that.
And it just speaks to how this tech could give developers the ability to create richer, more dynamic worlds. Because imagine being a developer and being like, okay, the AI is going to handle generating these huge wilderness areas and these random encounters, but that means I can really like zero in on crafting those key narrative moments, like those really important character interactions that drive the story forward.
And that's where the real magic happens. It's not about AI replacing human creativity. It's about finding that synergy between human and machine.
Totally.
So like we provide the initial spark, the vision, and then the AI can kind of run with it and help bring it to life in ways that we never even imagined.
Yes, it becomes a collaboration.
Right.
And like any good collaboration, it has the potential to create something truly extraordinary. So then it's not just about playing a game, it's about co-creating an experience.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Yeah.
I mean, what does all of this mean for the future of gaming? Are we on the cusp of like a revolution?
Well, the technology is definitely evolving rapidly. I mean, we're already seeing glimpses of what could be possible, but I think it's ultimately up to us, you know, developers and players, to decide how this technology is used. So will we really embrace the unknown, that truly unpredictable nature of these AI-generated worlds? Or are we going to stick with kind of the familiar comfort of those human-designed experiences?
I mean, it's a question that has no easy answers, and honestly, it's one that I'm sure will spark endless debate for years to come. But I mean, that's kind of what makes it so fascinating, right?
Right.
The possibilities are as vast and as unpredictable as the AI-generated worlds that we've been discussing.
Exactly. And, you know, who knows? Maybe someday we'll look back at this conversation as the moment where we first glimpsed a future where every gaming experience is as unique as the players themselves.
That's a great point. And on that note, we'll leave all of you with a final thought. What kind of world would you want an AI to create for you? Would you want to explore a sprawling fantasy realm? Or maybe solve a mind-bending mystery? Or honestly, would you just want to unwind in a peaceful, ever-changing landscape? Whatever it is, let us know, because this is just the beginning of this conversation, and we're excited to see where it goes from here.